What's the best thing you've ever got for free? My education. Ha, I'm going to die in debt. Edit. If only I could pay for loans with gold. I hung out with some Jamaican reggae band when I was 5 and got a free reggae CD. I love you. Unknown reggae band. Yesterday I got a potato in the mail that said, "Hey Ned, duck you." It was free and unexpected. Totally made my day. Born healthy, to a loving family, without much fear of starvation, disease or violence in my society. I am truly lucky. One day I mentioned to my neighbor that I hadn't spoken to in my life that I was a hunter. He said, "You want a gun? I don't use it anymore." Then he hands me a beautiful 1975 Remington 870 Express Magnum Field Combo in 20 gauge 95% condition. It is my favorite gun now. I got a call from my father's wife that he was on his deathbed and needed me to come out right away. I couldn't afford the tickets at the time, over $1,000, and made a Facebook post about it. About an hour later, I got a call from a United Airlines ticket agent asking me for my info so she could get me on a flight. One of my old friends flew for them and called in a favor to get a buddy pass for me. Normally, you still have to pay taxes and fees, but they waived all that for me. Thanks to my friend, I got to see my father before he died. Edit. Corrected the auto-correction. Edit 2. My father's wife, not my mother. He remarried after my parents split up when I was a baby. A really nice solid wood dinner table with 6 chairs. When I first moved out with my boyfriend, it was an older couple selling it for $75 as they were moving to Florida and wanting to get rid of all their furniture before leaving. So we drove out to them and were just chatting, looking at all the stuff they had to sell, and were loading up the table when the couple refused to accept my money. The woman said, "You are just such a lovely new couple starting out. You both deserve a break. We're giving this to you." I actually cried and hugged them. We still have the table. It's been through several moves over the last 8 years and it's in amazing condition. Edit. Here is the terrible photo of the awesome table. Dogs have been included for free. You're welcome. When I was 16, working at a cookie stand in the mall, a woman walks up and gives me a $100 bill and walks away. I catch her eye a little later while she's eating in the food court and I wave her over. I ask her why she gave me $100 and she said she had won the lottery. I heard later that it was something like $600 million, and she liked to walk around and give out money. She then asked for a couple cookies. I gave them to her and told her there was no way I would charge her. She smiled and said I was being too nice, then slid another $100 bills across the counter. I later heard of her giving away cars and diamond tennis bracelets. Also heard she would sit down with people in the food court, ask them how much debt they were in, then writing them checks. I'd like to think I would be that kind of person. TLDR, was given $200 when I was 16 by a very generous lottery winner. A big screen TV. Background. In college, student life did the thing where they put a few thousand Easter eggs on the football field, and all but 20 had just a piece of candy in them. And those 20 special ones had a raffle ticket to win a TV. Lots of folks showed up super prepared with butterfly nets and such, but I just wandered over when I was procrastinating studying, and of my 10 eggs I grabbed, one had the winning ticket. A year or so later though I moved abroad, so gave it to my sister. I'm deployed to the desert right now and can't believe the things that get handed out to us. A few weeks ago I received a package of cigars from a group operation, Cigars for Warriors. I used to smoke them a while ago, but now it's become a weekly thing to pass the time. I'm eternally grateful. A Game Boy Color with a copy of Pokemon Red in 1999 from my older cousin who was too cool for Pokemon. He changed my life. Story time. It was 2000, and I had just been to Italy with my family. They were staying for 3 weeks, but I had to get back to my job so I had to leave after 2, so I was flying back alone. I was flying KLM Northwest, so I had a connecting flight in Amsterdam. After boarding the second plane, they had an issue with one of the engines. They said the pre-flight check was taking a bit longer than normal at first, then that the engineers would need to check something out but were running behind. then that the senior engineer would need to check something out. After 4 hours of being stuck on the plane, they said they'd have to put us up overnight in a hotel and that we'd leave on a different plane at 8 the next morning. So it's 10:30 at night and I'm staying overnight in Amsterdam for free and decide how many chances do I get like this. So I go out to a coffee shop to get some weed. I find one of the few still open and scrounge together the very last of my money. I had just been on vacation in Italy and spent most of my disposable income there to buy a gram. I didn't have anything to smoke out of, so the coffee shop offered me some complimentary papers. So I roll the gram into 2 joints and smoke one. I get blazed out of my mind and stumbled back to the hotel and crash. I wake up the next morning promptly at 10, 2 hours after my flight took off. I had slept right through my alarm. Duck, 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 duck. Well, what am I going to do? What can I do? So I smoke the remaining J as I walk back to the airport. I'm stoned when I get to the KLM desk. So, I missed my flight back to the Twin Cities. I've never missed a flight before. How does this work? I was a bit worried because I was completely broke and would have to find some way to contact my parents if I needed to pay to get home. I'm already wondering how I'm going to explain this to them. Oh, it's no problem. You paid for a ticket. I'll just transfer that and we'll get you home on the next flight with an open seat. You'll have to fly standby though, so it could take a while if the flights are full. Well, the ticket wouldn't cost anything, so at least that was good. I was still worried about how long I'd be stuck in Amsterdam now that I was broke. After just a moment though, she continued, "It looks like a flight is leaving right now. They've already started boarding, so we'll have to rush you through security to make it." My relief was palpable when she said this. Then, will first class be alright? It's the only seat left on the plane. So I got a free upgrade to first class on a transatlantic flight because I got stoned and overslept on my free one night stay in Amsterdam. I sipped complimentary champagne while still blazed out of my mind, listening to the CEO in the seat next to me talking about how you needed to know how to delegate to grow your company past a certain size instead of micromanaging like many CEOs of startups like to do, all the while wondering how the hell I got so lucky. A free round of golf for 4 at a nice course from ESPN Radio. I gave it to my father for Father's Day. I was not invited. Mountain Dew edition of the original Xbox. Didn't have an Xbox or PlayStation, but wanted one badly. My mother, at the time, did all of her grocery shopping at Giant Eagle. Apparently, unbeknownst to us, every time she bought a Pepsi product there, with the rewards card, she was entered to win the Mountain Dew Xbox. They had one per store. We didn't know we won. Just one day, the UPS guy drops off a package addressed to my mother. From Pepsi. I asked my mom if I could open it. She said sure. I'll never forget the words that came out of my mouth. Mom, did you order an Xbox? She didn't even know what an Xbox was. When I told her, she said maybe she'd give it to my brother in college for his birthday coming up. I shut down that idea as fast as I could. That was a great day. A hippie I met at a festival once just gave me 3 sheets of acid. That's 300 hits. He came up and asked if anyone had any water. I gave him a bottle and he gave me the acid. Not exactly the most equitable trade, but he insisted. So, yeah, good deal. And good acid. When I was 17, a friend from school gave me a totaled VW Jetta. They had hit a parked car on black ice and the cost of professional bodywork was more than the value of the car itself. After it sat in their parents' garage for a year, her father became tired of it taking up space and threatened to scrap it. Desperate to see the car live on, she offered it to me on the condition that I would fix it up and keep it. And that's how I got my first car. I learned so much from this hoopty. How to replace a transmission, how to do tune-ups and oil changes, how to replace body panels, how to power slide in the snow, how to race on a track, etc, etc. I was on a relatively short Southwest flight and I got 3 free beers just because. Best flight ever. I never talked to my seatmates, but I did that day. My friend gave me a $1 scratch-off ticket because he had extra time before a movie and figured, why not buy some? I won $100. The top prize. He got half, as were the conditions made beforehand. Edit. Fixed random contraction. Back when I was working in a coffee shop in the early 90s, I had one of my regular customers give me a check for $450 to pay for a dentist visit to fix my abscessed tooth. He saw that I was in pain throughout the week and asked me why I didn't just go to the dentist to get it fixed. I told him I had no insurance and couldn't afford to pay for it. He walked back to work after getting his coffee and showed up 10 minutes later with the check. I was blown away. Refused payment of any kind when I tried to pay him back. In my last year of high school, I was broke as hell. I found $10 on the ground walking to my car after work, so I stopped for fuel on my way back home. Was nearly empty. I was asking the gas station attendant to put $10 of fuel in my car. He forgot about my tank and it got filled up completely. The attendant came back running like hell saying, "Oh, I forgot." Then he said, "Sorry sir, I filled up your tank by mistake. That'll be $10. Paid him and laughed all the way home for having great fortune that day. TLDR. Found $10. Went to get gas and got a full tank for the $10 I got for free. Not exactly free, but I won a PS2 in a claw machine game for $3. I've gotten a few beers before. I'll let you in on a little story. A man walks into a bar, drinks a couple of beers, and prepares to leave. The bartender tells him he owes $8. "But I already paid you. Don't you remember?" says the customer. "Okay," says the bartender. "If you say you paid, then I suppose you did." The man goes outside and tells the first person he sees that the bartender can't keep track of whether his customers have paid or not. The second man rushes in, orders a couple beers, and later pulls the same stunt. The barkeep replies, "Okay, if you say you paid, then I suppose you did." The customer goes outside and tells a friend how to get free drinks. The third man hurries into the bar and begins to drink highballs. The bartender leans over and says, "You know, a funny thing happened tonight. Two men were drinking beer, neither paid, and both claimed they had. The next guy who tries that stunt is going to get punched in the man interrupts, "Don't bother me with your troubles, bartender. Just give me my change and I'll be on my way." I was tutoring a kid about a year ago. Really rich family. Their house was massive. TVs for days. They were putting up this new 70 TV and I watched them set down their old TV. And I was thinking, man, I got to ask if I can buy that off of them. The dad looks at the mom and goes, "Where are we gonna put this thing?" And then he sees me looking at the TV and goes, "Do you want a TV?" I looked at the kid I was tutoring and go, "What do I say? Am I allowed to say yes?" And he goes, "Yeah. My parents always give us away the old TV," so I said, "Yes, I totally want it." The dad goes, "Great. Let me know when you're leaving and I'll help you load it into your car. It's a 55 inches TV. It's ducking amazing." Over break last year I was with my best pals from high school catching up on college nonsense, and since we were cruising around, we stopped to get gas. This gas station shares a parking lot with a KFC, and while we were in there, a KFC employee pulls up. He comes up to the four of us and was like, "Hey, we have 12 pounds of fresh KFC chicken we just fried, but we had too much so we are just going to throw away. Do you want it?" So being the stoned college kids we were, we took the duck out of that chicken. We ate like kings that night and I brought chicken to work pretty much every day for the rest of break. Here's a picture I snagged of the loot. I was at a gun show and I won a wheelbarrow full of booze. 40 different fifths. Yes, they give out booze and guns at the same location. And yes, it was near Detroit. Edit. It was not in Gibraltar. It was in suburban showplace in Novi. Edit. Wheelbarrow apologizes for the grammar mistake. I have no use for one. And I honestly have no idea what even happened to it. That's what 45ths do to you, I guess. Hands down. My cat, Dexter, my wife and I took him from her brother's house, which had about 10 cats, 2 dogs and a few other animals living there. His ex was a trainee veterinary nurse and a bit of an animal hoarder. He was terrified of the dogs and spent the first year of his life hiding under a bed in a dark room and was generally scared of life. We've had him for 4 years now, and he's just made life better. I like to think we've made his better too. Here's a bonus pic. Edit. I also got a free cruise once, including unlimited drinks, which was pretty cool. Edit 2. Somebody replied to this asking for more pics of Dexter. So, here's a small album. My son. I adopted him from the foster system and didn't have any adoption expenses. The upkeep costs are kind of pricey though. My dog. She's a mutt, and when she was a puppy, her owners were going to bring her to a kill shelter because they couldn't get rid of her because she wasn't cute enough. She has short legs, but I think she's cute. Companionship is the best free thing, hands down. My grandma's last 6 months. I will never regret giving up my job for that. My college education. My parents paid for my college education, and when 22-year-old Fro 123 graduated, he hardly appreciated that gesture enough. Fast forward nearly 5 years later, while I'm balls deep in debt for medical school. Not having that extra 40-60k looming over my head is a gift I'll never be able to truly thank them for. My goal is to work hard, pay off my med school loans, and once I'm finally comfortable, send my parents on a trip of a lifetime to Europe. They deserve it. Crabs. Won a gift card to Red Lobster. Ended up taking the waitress home along with her friends. 1,000 boxes of cereal. Proof. When I worked at Kroger in 2004, I always watched for the sweet coupon deals. That was back when they were really sweet. All of them could be either doubled or tripled, not just the first one, etc. So, one week I see that when you buy 4 boxes of certain types of cereal, it will print a $4 off your next purchase coupon. These cereals just happen to be on sale for $1 a box. In Texas, where I worked, there is no sales tax on groceries. So, the first day of the sale, before I clocked in, I made my initial $4 investment and got my coupon for $4. I then used that coupon for 4 more boxes, and it printed me another coupon. I repeated this process 250 times during that week and ended up with 1,000 boxes of cereal. What the hell can I do with 1,000 boxes of cereal? My friends, who helped with the purchasing and storing of the goods, decided we should donate most of them to a food drive. 800 boxes. The remainder, we ate for the next year and a half. Pictures of toasters. Edit. Remove pics. As a high school journalist, I did a lot of feature pieces of local businesses. I went to this sauce company once to interview them, and I got a ton of free sauces. BBQs, pasta sauce and pasta, balsamic vinegar, etc. I am a single mum with toddler. We do okay, but she needed new toys and I couldn't really splash out to get everything I wanted. Fretful she wasn't getting the stimulation she needed. Walking home from a play date, this man gave me 2 large boxes of his child's toys. He was taking them to the rubbish tip because he didn't have time to sell on eBay. The look on my daughter's face when she saw all of the toys set out in the front room was priceless. I can't thank that man enough. My family owns a hotel and people leave stuff in the rooms all the time, and if they don't inquire about it in a month, we keep the items. I've found enough phone chargers to open up an Apple store. I've also found 2 Chromecast devices and also gotten a $100 gift card someone left behind. I have a few things that deserve mentioning. 1. My washer and dryer that I picked up off the side of the road 10 years ago. Still going strong. 2. About 10,000 magic cards from Unlimited onwards. I've had them for 20 years now and only sold about 30. That 30 got me $1,800 though. 3. A free vacation to an all-inclusive resort in Turkey on the Mediterranean for a week. A $150 mini fridge from Walmart. I went in one evening to buy some groceries and a mini fridge for my bedroom. Lady at the checkout counter was asked by her supervisor to skip her lunch just as I was walking up. A few other people queued up behind me. This lady was fuming. I offered some small words of encouragement. Yeah, he's okay with you missing lunch, but I don't see him moving to an empty register to help out. Cashier stopped scanning my stuff, looked up at me and smiled. She told me, "Isn't that some bullet?" We had a sympathetic chuckle over that. She then handed me my receipt and very warmly told me to have a good day. Odd. I get out to the parking lot. My total amount was a bit over $80. She rung up my food, didn't ring up the fridge. Pokemon board game in a raffle. One of my buddies signed in on his Netflix account on my Xbox years ago in college. He was the first one to use the app, so his account has stayed signed in on it ever since. I know it's not the coolest thing out there, but I mean, I've had free Netflix for like 4 years. I'll take it. I have always been a bit ballsy in asking for things, and it often leads to sweet rewards. I got a lot of cool things for generally asking nicely and being one charming Methodica. But one of the best wins was when I was a child. Do you remember those Nintendo promo beanies that sold? Like Beanie Baby size. But had them as Mario, various colored Yoshis, etc. They looked like this $35 JPG. Well, I was an aficionado of these and loved collecting them for posterity. I was still young enough to have them at the time, but mature enough to not rip off the tags. Well, anyway, in the electronics video games section of a store, I saw a promo for Diddy Kong Racing with an illustrious Diddy Kong beanie in an airplane. I lusted it, desired it, wanted it. My dearest mother asked the staff, and after 20 some minutes of confused "I don't see why not," I was rewarded with the special promo gift. I still have my collection to this day, with most of it being complete, minus one Blue Yoshi. My first car. Gift from my neighbor because he was too lazy to sell it and knew I was just old enough to need a car, and it was a bit of a bomb. It was a beaut though. I loved that thing even the time the automatic transmission died and it was stuck in third gear until I could afford to get it fixed 3 months later. Got too many people with me going somewhere? Someone went in the boot. I love that thing. Last week me and my friend were at the grocery store. We were waiting in the line and talking about birthdays. The woman in front of us asks my friend if it is his birthday today. My friend says no, it was a week ago. The woman says, "My treat and pays our food." I once won a $300 Koa ukulele in a raffle. That was sweet. Edit. Sometimes I choose 3 typewriter. $200 bucks. There was a $500 prize and $5.50 prizes. Guess I won $4.50 prizes. Someone who hates me sent actual coward to my door via it express. I have a feeling that it's an X. TL. DR. Don't stick D in crazy. Went to McDanks yesterday. They made an extra Oreo McFlurry on accident. Praise Jeebus. I won a Kindle Fire in a raffle. I was really excited because I never win anything. My girlfriend's boss was having a clear out and brought a load of stuff into his office for his staff to take. She spotted some speakers that she thought I might like and asked if I could help her bring them home. Pair of excellent condition, Kef reference 101s. Couple of £100. Easy. $1 million from a relative in Nigeria. I just had to give my credit information and I'll get it soon. An unlimited fast pass to my local theme park, as well as a bunch of free tickets. An eyeshadow palette that included a really nice liquid liner pen and 3 blushes, along with separate 2 blushes and a lipstick. I should make a throwaway, but hey, whatever. I just won a $260,000 house. I move in on the 8th of June. It's pretty sweet. My son was the first baby born in the hospital for the new year. We got a year's supply of diapers, wipes, and formula. Not to mention a pack and play full of clothes, towels, soap, blankets, toys, playmat, bather, storage units, and so much more. It was great to have all this free stuff as a first-time mom.